couldn't get around the back, and in fact, he was fouling his man as he went. The referee not in the least bit interested in Wilson's protestations of innocence. The free kick is to Bulgaria. Statkov, then Petrov, Ishbrenov losing his footing, McLeish shaping to clear it. Intelligent use of the ball there to Nicol, and now Clark finding their way through to McStay. Good little ball, and well played out to Nicol, and they got some room here. Shot goes to the middle, and Nicol's cross taking the rebound. That's a corner. Might have been a better cross from Steve Nicol, but it was well done by the Scots, and in particular Paul McStay. His little left touch opened a gap where there appears to be none, sucked the Bulgarians in, and then Nicol was away off the right. But they have got a corner, and they've called Ian Wilson over to try and swing it in under Mikhailov's crossbar. Wilson for Scotland, and Mikhailov crossed it and found it again. Well, in this day and age, players feel disinclined to go in and harry goalkeepers for fear of being penalised, but on that occasion, if there'd been someone in closer attendance, the Scots might have made something of it. He was quick to react to cover his initial error, but a close call for Bulgaria nonetheless. And that's the state of the parties at half an hour of the match gone. Bulgaria 0, Scotland 0. And Scotland with the free kick. Nicol to Aitken, and he found a way through and tried the shot, and Mikhailov well behind him. Goalkeeper perfectly positioned. Free kick to Bulgaria. Ishbrenov. And all the way across the back four. Stoichkov. Petrov. They really do hold rigidly to their positions, the Bulgarians. Two central defenders, two full backs, tightly stationed out of the flanks. This is the right back, Nikolov. And looking for the running, Sirakov. Gary Gillespie, the man in control. Ian Wilson held on well there, and McStay to offer assistance. Cool heads there among the Scots. Clark fortunate to get away with that. His inexperience showing. The finish of it all. Back with Aitken, and then with Gillespie. Man on Roy Aitken there. The Scots doing what they have to do, and doing it with a degree of competence. It must be said, even if from an Irish point of view, it's not quite enough, because of course a draw for Scotland is no good to Irish hopes of qualification. But then looked at dispassionately, the Scots have come here to put up a good show, and they're certainly containing the Bulgarians at this stage of the game. Bulgaria, of course, in need only of a single point to tip the Republic of Ireland on goal difference and claim the qualifying place for Germany. So all it will do for us is a win for the Scots. Cut out by Aitken. McStay up towards Sharp. Now Malpa's doing well. Leclerc and Sharp. And McClare again. Nichols gone forward up the right, but there was no real angle on for him there, so it's Clark once more. Brian McClare. Two options. And stay one of them. That's played in towards Sharp. But the Bulgarian reacted to Sharper there. Now, Aitken in. Well won back. Steve Nichols. McStay. Fell between two stools there. McLeish fouled his man. Grim determination to make sure that he should not pass, nor did he. Nikolov for Bulgaria. Sirakov was well controlled. And that was a fine shot at the end of it. It seemed he'd lost his option there when he lost his footing just as he controlled that ball so superbly. But Sirakov, who was such an influential figure against Ireland here, very nearly worked the oracle against the Scots. Look at that for control, and one felt that if he hadn't just lost his footing there, he might have got the shot in earlier. As it was, he did get the shot in from a good angle, but Leighton was well across his goal. Ten minutes to half-time. It's still 0-0. A steady performance from the Scots. Sharp the lay off towards McClare, and that's breaking in the direction of Ian Wilson, but the touchline came too soon. Another free kick, an over-exuberant challenge, this time from Maurice Malpass. So Bulgaria's free kick. Petrov. Cut out by McLeish, and now McStay, or Sharp rather. Throw into Bulgaria. And Hristo Mladinov calling the shots for the Bulgarians. Foul throw against Petrov. Stevie Clark up to take this one. Sharp. Return pass a little too firm. And it's been left for the left back, Petrov. That was Sirakov. Petrov will take the free kick. Aimed towards the big centre forward, Alexandrov, but yet again he loses out. The Scots in central defence have looked secure. The big man, Alexandrov, pushed up the middle to try and put the pressure on them. Is it a pretty thankless task? That came off the head of Petrov, I felt, but he felt, and everybody but the linesman felt. Petrov had gone back to take up station in a defensive capacity and ends up taking the throw himself. Once again, it's Bulgaria's ball. Even if the ball boy felt it was the Scots throw. Well, eventually the referee getting the message across that he too felt it was Scotland's throw. Well, one thing's for certain, Bulgaria, if they are to qualify, are going to be doing so in a blaze of glory. There's no show being put on for the folks at home. If they are to progress, it'll be done in a business-like way. That's good play. Alexandrov. Tirakov was fouled when he was trying to get through there. Free kick is not awarded, in fact. Here the referee was signalling yes, but in the end, no. So play resumes, and the Scots try to mount an attack. But after a good opening half hour or so, it seems now they're withdrawing somewhat into themselves, Scotland. There was no one up when the attack was building. Good defensive header up and away. Now Graham Sharp back to Malthus, but everybody's way deep back in the Scottish half, and that long ball upfield from Malthus was to nobody. McClare and Sharp playing ever deeper. As we move into the final 5 minutes of the first half, still Scotland 0, Bulgaria 0, or rather the other way around, since we are in Sofia. And hooked away by Sharp. And it's almost as if the Scots are hanging on and waiting for half-time, expecting inspiration then. Because although they were playing in quite open fashion for a period in the middle of this first half, they now would retreated right into their own territory. And any attack that they are to mount is going to have to be patiently built. Petrov, Alexandrov, Clark going in, and then Aitken too, and Nicol put it back to Leighton. Confirmation of the scoreline and the time. And now Scotland have men up. But Nicol under pressure from behind, unable to give the return ball to Stevie Clark. Clark being urged there by Andy Roxburgh just to get back. Feeling has been in the past couple of games he's played for Scotland that he's been a bit inclined to roam too far forward and forsake his defensive position. He's being reminded of his primary responsibility by his coach. Oh, Gillespie and McLeish in trouble there. And a corner is what is awarded after playing so well and displaying such a good understanding. There was clearly no call there. They both went to the same ball. And fortuitous that there wasn't a Bulgarian to take advantage. But a chance for the home team maybe to carve something out as we approach half-time. Stoichkov with the corner. And it was a Scottish head that sent it high over the bar. Jim Leighton appealing that there was a foul as the Bulgarian came charging in. And there are 3 men now on the deck. Well, one of the Scots has got himself up. They've left down just the Bulgarian, who seemed in some distress. He was signalling for attention the minute he hit the ground. Well, Scotland very nearly caught out by that swift attack. And for once, McLeish and Gillespie getting it wrong. And as the attack built from the corner, this man went down injured. And it would appear he's damaged his shoulder. Here's the corner again. And watch them coming in. Ah, yes, it was the Bulgarian who fell very, very awkwardly on his right arm there. and he's been led away. And they're preparing a substitute. Will he be able to continue or not? I think it's Alexandrov, the big number 9. Another corner to be taken by Stoichkov. Bulgaria at the moment with 10 men. And Alexandrov would appear to be withdrawn. The corner played in, headed away by Nickel. And eventually put out of play by Maurice Malpass. And Bulgaria, if they want, can bring on their substitute. And he comes on now, 1 minute to half-time. Ilya Voinov, he played in Dublin, was substituted by Peter Alexandrov, and didn't finish the game. And now the irony, the man who replaced him has himself to be replaced, and Voinov comes back into the fray. Alexandrov, the damaged arm, Voinov on to replace him. Well, he knew the moment he went down that he was in trouble. Signaled for assistance. I thought the last thing you need at a time like that is to be interviewed by the local radio or television station, but Alexandrov having to pause on the way to his treatment to offer his thoughts. Well, that's a good run, and Malpass did well to get the ball out of play. Bulgarians claiming a handball, and it wouldn't be for the first time if they'd got it that a penalty had been awarded in dubious circumstances here. But the Austrian referee, having none of it, was a very good run up the right, and the sliding challenge had to be a good one. But the referee saw no infringement, nor did his linesman, and it's a corner to Bulgaria as we move into added time at the end of the first half. McLeish getting it away. Iliev. Oh, and it's now Ian Wilson. McStay. Nobody forward really, and McStay run out of it. A foul and a free kick to the Scots. Certainly no suggestion that the referee is anything less than scrupulously fair here. He's run it straight and true, and no indication at all that he's going to be anything other than absolutely impartial. There you are, just over a minute of added time played, and the state of the play as it was at the beginning. And Helmut Kohl, the Austrian referee, has had a good look at the old watch, but still the play goes on. Aitken up, thumped away by Sadkov, and that'll go all the way through to Jim Leighton. And that is the end of the first half, a minute and a half of added time played. A first half in which the Scots had to survive an early scare, then put some pressure on Boris Mikhailov's goal themselves, but in the final 7 or 8 minutes had retreated into their shell somewhat, allowing the Bulgarians to come at them. The half-time score of the Vasil-Levski Stadium in Sofia is Bulgaria 0, Scotland 0. The second half of the Vasil-Levski Stadium underway. Bulgaria playing left to right, and Scotland have made a half-time substitution, sending on Gary Mackay of Hearts for his first cap in midfield in place of Paul McStay. And that's Mackay on the ball now. And it can only be assumed, in the absence of Paul McStay, who is such an influential player for Scotland, that he must have been injured during the first half. But he's gone. Mackay's on for his first cap. And Bulgaria had made a substitution before the break, sending on Voinov for Alexandrov. The ball played up towards Steve Nicol, who's adopted very much an outside right role throughout this match. And it goes to McClare, and McClare falling over, and the referee not interested. The first touch for Boris Mikhailov in this second half. Ian Wilson squeezing it through to Malpass. Scotland have the throw just inside the Bulgarian half. Gillespie was sharp laying it off. Now Mackay. Wilson. And playing it infield towards Brian McClare. Wilson, and now Mackay again. Malpass. And Aitken. They rode the challenge of Zirakov. And offside flag raised against Steve Nicol on the far side. Free kick to Bulgaria. Gary Mackay, one of the new faces of Scottish football. No past international experience to speak of, but a member of the Hearts team, the Heart of Midlothian team in Edinburgh, that's going well in the Premier Division in Scotland this season. Managed, of course, by that former Scottish stalwart right back, Sandy Jardine. This is Zirakov for Bulgaria. Was cut out, but then Mackay dispossessed. Pumped in by Nikolov. And back to safety with Jim Leighton. Gillespie with a long ball upfield. Nicol chasing in a very forward role. That's McClare coming through, but Mikhailov was able to collect to the edge of his box. Nudge on from Ishkvernov. McLeish aware of the danger from Voinov. Steve Clark upfield. And Aitken for Wilson. Now Malpass. Oh, he did well. But a good challenge in the end from the sweeper, Pezinski. He read the situation so well, but it had been a good run by Malpass up the line. This was from the crowd for the over-exuberance of the challenge of Ian Wilson. But the Bulgarian is being spoken to and is going to be booked. The crowd don't like this one little bit. Yellow card for the Bulgarian, Nikolov. Here's the incident again. Challenge from behind. In went Wilson. Oh, he really went over the top there, didn't he? I think the free kick had been given for the first infringement, which was Malpass pulling his man, but it was the reaction of the Bulgarian fullback Nikolov jumping in on Ian Wilson which brought the booking. That's Plamen Nikolov, professional footballer in Sweden with Braga. This meanwhile is Steve Nicol. Good run up the right. They've been able to get the distance up the touchline all right, Scotland, both Nicol on the right and Malpass on the left, but then the cross has been cut out. The well-organised Bulgarian defence able to deal with the threat, as did Gary Gillespie on that occasion for Scotland. 5 minutes of the second half gone. Bulgaria 0, Scotland 0. 40 minutes for Scotland to get a breakthrough that would send the Republic of Ireland to the European Championship finals in Germany. referee going to take his name. So within the space of a minute, both right backs have been booked. Helmut Kohl, the Austrian referee, adding the name of Steve Clark to that of Vlamen Nikolov. Bulgaria have a free kick. McClare and Mackay, the two on the wall. And that was off the head of Steve Nicolin out for a corner to Bulgaria. Leighton coming and getting the fist to it. It's falling for the substitute Voinov. Nikolov, but cleared there by Mackay. McClare couldn't control it, but he's got the throw. The Bulgarian crowd strangely muted. They're exhorted before the game over the public address to give the home team all the support they can, but then when things don't go so well, they tend to become somewhat disgruntled and less likely to offer. Roy Aitken committing the foul, and Ilya Voinov making the most of it. The referee fully aware of the fact that Voinov couldn't possibly have been seriously injured in that challenge. Here it is again. Well, that was nearly it again. There it was. If he was to damage himself, it would have been more likely as a result of the fall than as a result of anything Roy Aitken did to him. Be told by Tirakov. Two men in the middle. Tirakov round Aitken. And that was Nicol who got it away. Back in again from Nikolov. And Steve Clark able to turn it away. It was very good play by the Bulgarian captain, Natko Tirakov. Such an influential figure for the Bulgarians over the years. And in line for the European Golden Boot Award, he got 36 goals last season for his club, Vitosha Sofia. Andy Roxburgh and Graham Sharp in conversation as Bulgaria carry on with the throw. Nikolov. Bundled out of it. The throw given to Bulgaria. Ten minutes of the second half gone, no goals in the Vasilevsky Stadium in Sofia. Roy Aitken committing a foul, giving another free kick to Bulgaria. Back to Bezinski. And now Ishkrenov. And Steve Clark slid in with a challenge. And it's given a corner to Bulgaria. Oh, danger not averted. Leighton